So this audio is all about goal setting and really how to connect in with your goal, why you should set a goal, how you should set your goals, and what to do if you don't meet your goal. So I really wanted to kick this off because this is one of the questions that I've asked for the group is to set your intention, set your goal in terms of what you want to accomplish over the next 30 days. It's very clear that you were in this group because you want to get better at sales. You want more sales. You want to feel more in alignment with sales. And maybe you just need a little boost. Maybe you need some accountability. Maybe you need some consistency. Whatever reason that you joined here, there's something that you are going towards, right? There's a target. There's something that you're trying to get. And I want to help support you in getting that and in really just getting in touch with why these goals exist in the first place. Why, maybe some people have a goal of 5K or 10K and other people might have a goal of 50K or 100K. So like I said previous, it really doesn't matter what the actual number is for you. I also have a collective goal of what I want to accomplish in this group and what I want everyone to see and a target for, my leadership within this group as well. So I'll be sharing that shortly. And when I say it doesn't matter what the goal is, what I really mean is you're going to learn so much. You're going to gain so much. You're going to grow so much by just tapping into this every single day, by just being consistent with yourself, by just committing to showing up for yourself and doing that for the next 30 days. So there's so much positive that is going to happen by just being part of this group and interacting. And like I said, if you do really show up and if you really are consistent, I really don't see any way that you're not going to make a ton of sales. So in terms of the goals, I know when I set my goals, they're typically based on, a need, right? Not ashamed to admit that. I feel like we're all kind of there. Hey, I would love, X amount of dollars to cover all of my expenses for the month. And maybe I want to put a down payment on a car, or maybe I'm looking at a trip, or maybe I want to invest in a coach, so there obviously are reasons why we have the number that we have. There are a ton of different theories out there on how to set your goals. We hear of SMART goals. We hear of good, better, best goals, right? And what I really want you to tap into is I like to give my money a home. So I feel like money comes when there's a reason for it to come, right? So I wouldn't just say I want $1 million this month, just because I want $1 million, right? But I could say, well, I want $100,000 this month because of this, this, and this, right? And really putting it somewhere, really connecting into the reasons why you want it. Now, you want to be very careful here because if you hold on too much to the need, right, then there starts to become some desperation that starts to seep in, right? I got to pay my mortgage, or I got to make my car payment, or I got to have this many people in here because I have XYZ due, in 10 days, right? So when we come from that place, it really isn't a good place. It's actually coming from a place of lack. So I want you to balance out, your needs with your actual wants. So a lot of times when I think of wants, there are things like I mentioned before, maybe a trip, a down payment for something, but I also tap into I just want to see money in my bank account. I want to see a certain number in my bank account, or I want to take this money and I want to invest this money, or I want to take this and I want to put it into a compound interest account, right? So I really like to expand a little bit in terms of going beyond the bare minimum need for the money and go into my desires and why do I actually want that money, right? Because then you're going to feel more connected to it. Think about it. If you are just wanting the bare minimum dollar amount so that you could pay a bill, so that you could pay down debt, those aren't good feelings, right? It's kind of okay, well, you're just going to get the money just to give it away, right? Just to give it to somebody else. And so if we're constantly leading from that place, that's probably the reason why you haven't hit your goals, especially if you're someone who has had the same goal for a really long period of time. So maybe you're at 5 to 10K and you're you've been wanting 20K for a year, and you maybe have gotten close, or maybe you've gotten 15, but then you always go back to 10 or 5, or, you have your set minimums. And the reason why is because of this, is because you are creating the goal based on a need and essentially based on lack. So you're always going to get just enough. You're always going to get the bare minimum. So throughout the 30 days and in a separate audio, I do want to talk about how to expand your capacity to receive more money, how to hold it, what it's going to feel like, especially if you are going for a goal that is like way bigger than you've ever had before. Inevitably, some mindset shit's going to come up, sabotages are going to come up, and we will tend to follow those things and then end up right back where we were. And then again, the next month, it's like, okay, well, I didn't hit it, so let me get back and set that goal again for 20K, right? Or set that goal again for 30K, and then we're disappointed at the end. So in terms of the goals, like I said, when you feel more connected to the goal, and it's not just a bare minimum need, then you're going to be more expansive and you're going to be more excited about bringing that money in and bringing the clients in. One little side note too, if you are, really feeling like some resistance to like a number or setting a money goal, you can set a number goal in terms of how many people you want to support. So this really helped me a lot when I was kind of stuck in that phase too of like just constantly hitting the same numbers, being on a plateau, always like, oh, I want that 100K a month. I want that 100K cash a month. And it just never happened, right? Like it just never happened because I was just so in this cycle with myself. I was so in this like, push and pull with myself. So what I actually started to do was I started to think about, yes, the money is going to come as a result, but I would love to have X amount of people in my containers. So I would love to have, for example, I would love to serve 50 clients this month. And I would love for 25 of those people to be brand new to my world. So this is just a different way to set the goal because obviously if those people come into my world, money is going to be a result of that, right? But I can tap into and connect into my leadership. I can tap into and connect to like, I really want to serve this amount of people. I would love to have, thousands of people in my community, right? That could be another thing for you. So if you're struggling with like the money piece, then try to just shift the goal or try to shift the perspective on why you actually want that thing. The other thing is to just really make sure that the goal that you're setting is not like a facade or not like, well, I should want this by now, or I should have this by now because I've been in business for so long, or I've been doing this for so long, or, the glitz and the glam of the online world says that I should have this much money or says that I should want this much money, right? And really tap into and feel into what do you want? Your desire. We're going to lead with desire this whole 30 days. It's not going to be a bare minimum need. It's going to be a desire. And when you shift that, your energy is going to shift. And people coming into your world are going to shift. Because energetically, when you are coming from a place of lack, or you are coming from a place of desperation, or you are coming from a place of like, I need this to happen or else, it's just not going to happen, right? Or it's going to feel really shitty on the way there. So we don't want any of that. For me, like I mentioned in the previous audio, the download that came for this group, I had a whole different launch planned for July, and this just totally took over. And I literally got the download for the group, but I also got the download for the amount of people that I wanted in it. And I also got the download for the amount of money that I wanted to make from not just this group, but just this whole month. And I also got the download for the collective of people in this group and the total amount that we're all going to make over the next 30 days, plus. So I want to just tap into one more thing here, and then like I said, I want to keep the audios like pretty short so you can just take action, go do your thing, tap into the collective here. And the last thing that I want to tap into is like, what happens if you don't hit your goal? Okay, we'll talk about this more later, but I just want to like put this out there. The number that I had for this group, I'm only about halfway there. And we start today. So I already know that I'm probably going to extend this group by at least another week. I already know that because I didn't hit that goal, Like, I want to keep going. First of all, I'm really excited to keep going. Like, I am just in love with the process and the promotion that I'm doing around this. And it's so fun. And it just feels like so me that, like, I honestly, like, I don't even want to stop, even though we're already starting. And technically, a lot of people will say, like, oh, well, you started the group, so the launch is over. You get to make the rules. You get to decide when your launch is over. You get to decide how long you give yourself to hit that goal. And another thing is, you're not going to be sad if maybe you don't hit your goal this month, but the momentum from this group allows you to hit that goal or maybe double it in the following month or in the next couple of months that follow, right? Because that's really what's going to happen. Once you get into flow, once you get into alignment, like, you're going to be unstoppable. So don't be upset. Don't be sad, because what you're gaining on the way there is going to be so much more powerful. And inevitably, you are going to hit that number. You are going to hit that target if you fully commit to yourself and don't drop into your energy. Don't drop your energy, right? That's what a lot of people tend to do. They'll look and they'll be like, oh, the launch is over in a couple days, right? Or we're starting tomorrow and I'm way far off of my goal, or I don't have enough people in there. And then we drop our energy and we get sad and we get upset and we get, why is this happening? Or what can I do, right? And then we drop back into lack. So keep the excitement going. That's what I'm going to do, because I didn't hit the number of people that I want in here. And I really, really want it, because I know that it's just going to feel so good. And the power that's going to come from this collective is going to be so insane. Like, it's just going to do so much for my business, for the people that are in it, and just for me in general, right? And my energy. So I'm going to keep going, even though we've technically started today. So like I said, you make the rules, right? You get to make the rules. You can have your cart open for 4 days. You can have your cart open for 40 days. You can do whatever you want. And when you're in that flow of, like, I get to make the rules, I get to decide, and not putting these, like, very strict time limits on yourself. Like, I know we're doing this 30-day group. Obviously, the 30 days is a container, but don't be so hard on yourself, because one of the things I always tell my clients is, like, manifesting is an amazing thing. I'm a master manifester. I can manifest anything if I really put my mind to it. But I always say, you are not God. So if you have the vision, if you want the thing, the reason that you want it is because you can actually have it. Because if you didn't want it, or if you couldn't have it, that thought wouldn't be in your head. It wouldn't even come across your mind that you could potentially achieve it. So if that goal is on your heart, if that goal came to your mind, then it's because it's for you. But at the same time, we can't manipulate time. Maybe some people think that you can, but you're not God, is like what I say. You're not God, and it might not be on your timing. It might be next month. It might be the month after, right? But if you stay consistent, you stay in that positive energy, you stay committed, you will eventually hit that goal. So I'm going to end this right here, because we're getting a little bit too long and I want you guys to take action. I'm going to actually put the action prompts for today into the group here. I'm just going to type it out. And what I want everyone to do is, once you complete the action for today, is to just come back here and let us know that you're done. And this is part of just staying committed to the process and the accountability, and making sure that you are consistent in this. You're all in with me. I am all in with you. I'll also be sharing the big goal that I have for the collective of the group. And I am just super excited to do this with you. Let's go ahead and get started and kick this Monday off with power, with grace, with just such excitement that nobody's going to be able to stop us.